What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the build guide. For those of you guys who do not know what the build guide is, I'm going to be giving you guys 3 different builds at 3 different heights in 3 different playstyles for every position in NBA 2K23. That means that no matter how you guys play the game, you're going to walk away with a build that can fit you and you can make for yourself. One thing to recognize before I go any further in this video is that everybody plays different. These builds are templates, okay? You guys do not have to make these identical. For example, you guys see this build right here. I'm putting an 80 driving dunk on my point guard. If you don't think that you need an 80 driving dunk, then you guys are more than welcome to drop it. But this is just a template that's going to help you guys make the best build possible. These are the 3 best builds that I could make for every position in NBA 2K23. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button and sub to the channel for more. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So what we're starting off with here is a 6'1" build with a 6'1" wingspan. Now, as you guys can see, this is an offensive juggernaut type build, okay? You guys have the 80 driving dunk, 4 quick drops off one. You have a 92 3-pointer for the gold limitless, and then you guys have phenomenal playmaking with the 95 speed with ball and the 94 ball handling with solid pass accuracy in itself. The 91 acceleration is going to make this player extremely quick. This is an offensive juggernaut, guys, okay? This is not going to be a build that you're going to play on the 2s court with, but if you are a pro-am point guard or a 3s guard who is out there playing with a lockdown defender, this is going to be an absolute menace for teams that are out there trying to guard you. So as you guys can see, as this build currently stands, 15 finishing, 25 shooting, 29 playmaking, and again, only 3 defensive. But as you guys are going to notice in this video, your builds cannot always have it all, okay? So this is the best way, in my personal opinion, to make this build. It actually goes crazy. I know a lot of you guys out there want to rock a 6'1" build, and that's not necessarily personally the way that I'm going to play this here. Like I said, in this video, I'm going to give you guys 3 different heights and 3 different playstyles. Me personally, I am not rocking with the 6'1", but it is a very, very, very good build. And for my guys out there who like to play 3s, who want to play pro-am, this is going to be an absolute meta point guard for you guys to go absolutely crazy with. This build is very similar to the green-blue pie chart that we saw in years past that absolutely dominated the game. It's very, very, very viable, and it's going to be an offensive juggernaut that defenses are going to struggle to stop because you have no true weaknesses on the offensive end. A lot of people are making these guards and they don't have any finishing. For your takeovers, guys, just pick the takeover that fits your game best. So that is the first point guard build, and if you guys have not already, make sure that you guys smash the like button because the builds are only going to get better. Now, for this second build, we're going to go ahead and rock with a 6'1" height and a 6'7" wingspan, okay? We're going to go ahead and change it up. I know a lot of people think that 6'1" is going to be the meta height, and I can completely understand that. So this build, on the other hand, is going to have a little bit more defense in it, and it's going to lose a little bit on the offensive end, but this is going to be a build that you could play on the 2s with. This is going to be a build that is a little bit more versatile because it's going to have defense in it. It's not going to be as potent, but it's still going to be a very viable build. As you guys can see right now, we have that 80 driving dunk, so we're going to go ahead and get quick drops off one. For those of you guys who are new to 2K, quick drops off one is the best dunk package in the game. The reason this build is good is because of the fact that you still have crazy offensive stats while also being able to carry over some defense with a little bit longer of a wingspan, okay? As you guys can see, it's not as offensively cracked as the first build was, but it's still very good with the 92 speed with ball, 94 playmaking, and still having that gold limitless, guys, with the ability to dunk. So many people are making these point guards without the ability to dunk, guys, and you guys are going to have an edge on your opponents off that aspect alone. A lot of people do not have that in their builds, and you guys are going to have that. Now, as you guys can see me making these changes, these are just different ways that you can set this build up, okay? Like I said, these builds are templates, but basically you're going to want to go ahead and follow this and make minor changes as you see fit. I personally believe that the way I'm building them is the best possible way to build them, but I can absolutely understand people changing things as they see necessary. So boom, as you guys can see, this build is not a defensive juggernaut, but it's not a slouch either, okay? You're not just going to pick on this build, and it still has absolutely insane offensive stats. In fact, this is better offensive stats that you're going to see than 90% of point guards that you play against, okay? You guys see the 85 speed with the 90 acceleration. Overall, just really, really, really good stats, and I'm telling you guys, this is also a very viable way to build that 6'1". For the takeovers, pick whatever you guys feel. That is always going to be a personal preference thing. Now, as I said before, guys, every single build is going to fit different playstyles. And right here, I'm going to hit you guys with my point guard build, okay? I went way different than what the average current meta quote-unquote player is running. I went with a 6'8" point guard with a 6'11" wingspan, weighing 205 pounds, completely breaking away from what the average point guard is making. Now, if you guys happen to see my stream today, you guys know that I was going absolutely stupid on this build, okay? This build is actually insane. As you guys can see, looking at the finishing off rip, we do have 17 finishing with the gold posterizer because of the 93 driving dunk. Moving down, we have gold limitless on a 6'8" build with a 6'11" wingspan and a 93 driving dunk. Now, in the playmaking, this is where people start to have doubts, and that's because they haven't touched this player yet. The speed with ball is a 79, but if you guys have watched me play this game, this player is absolutely moving. It does not move like a build that has a 79 speed with ball. And to be completely honest with you guys, I personally think that the 6'7 plus 6'8 plus 6'9 players at point guard are better than the 6'1s currently. But I didn't want to obviously leave the 6'1 people out. I want to make sure that if you're watching this video, you guys get a build that fits your playstyle. But this is my point guard build, and I do truly feel that it is the absolute best. Obviously, the defense isn't perfect, but being 6'8 with a 6'11 wingspan, you already have a defensive advantage while having gold limitless, while having solid playmaking, and while having gold posterizer, guys. This build truly has no weakness. Now, let's go ahead and move into the shooting guard builds, guys, okay? The shooting guard builds are a little bit trickier this year because, as you guys know from watching build videos or playing the game yourself, the build is hard to work with, and there's always going to be some sort of weakness in the build that you make, which that's why I like my point guard build so much, is because I don't truly feel that there's any weakness. So let's go ahead and start off with this shooting guard build right here. Now, this shooting guard build right here is what I would deem to be the pure sharp meta sharp for the year, okay? If you guys have seen anything that I've been talking about, I do truly feel that it is a pure sharp year. And obviously, one of the best ways to be a pure sharp is to get that three ball as high as possible. So as you guys can see, this is a 6'7 build with a 97 three-pointer, guys. A 97 three-pointer. The reason we went with 97 on the three-pointer is because that gets you guys Hall of Fame blinders. Hall of Fame blinders is very hard to get, but when you're making a pure sharp, it's something that you want to make sure that you guys have. You're also going to have solid stats across the board, okay? You're not going to have the craziest playmaking or the craziest finishing, but they're both going to be doable. And on the opposite end of that, look at the defense in this build, guys. The defense is absolutely insane. You are basically a pure lock, but also a sharp at the same time. You're basically a lock sharp. And I'm telling you guys, in the way that this NBA 2K plays, this is an absolute meta shooting guard. Do not be surprised if you see a lot of shooting guards in Pro-Am running this type of build and absolutely going stupid with it, because it is extremely balanced and it's something that you guys are going to see have a lot of success in this game. The reason you can also get away with not having that much playmaking on this build is because, again, this is a sharp shooting guard. As I said before, I'm going to give you guys 3 different play styles with 3 different heights. I want to make sure that I touch on everybody who needs a build. Whether you're a spot up, whether you're a ball handler, whether you're a lock, there's going to be a build in this video for you. So if you haven't seen it yet, just keep watching and I promise you're gonna find it. But for my spot ups out there, my Ray Allens, my Klay Thompsons, tap in with this build right here. It goes absolutely crazy. And on top of a completely different playstyle, this 6'5 with a 6'10 wingspan build right here goes absolutely crazy in its own respect. Now, let's go ahead and get into the stats. You guys are going to see a reoccurring theme with a lot of these builds, and that's getting that 80 driving dunk so you guys can get the quick drops off one. For those of you guys who do not know, quick drops off one is the best dunk package in the game, and you can get it by having an 80 driving dunk with a 60 vertical. So we're going to go ahead and have solid enough finishing to get glitchy with. For the 3-point shooting, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it at 90, okay? We're gonna put it at 90. So this is a silver limitless build. Silver limitless obviously isn't ideal, but shooting is very easy right now. And as you guys can see, this build is going to be really solid in its own respect, and that's why this build is going to be viable. As you can see, because of the 89 ball handling, you do get Hall of Fame quick first step on this build, and then it's not a defensive slouch either. This is a very balanced build, okay? For my players out there who don't really believe in specializing in one thing or just kind of want to be all around, all solid across the board, this is a really good build to look at, guys. I'm telling you right now. With 23 shooting, 11 finishing, and 25 playmaking at that 2 guard, and it's rounded up with 13 defense and solid physicals, this is definitely a build that you cannot sleep on. What also makes this build tough is that 6'10" wingspan at the 2 guard, because if it's a game where shooting guards are going to have to guard point guards or shooting guards are going to have to guard shooting guards, you're not going to be a slouch. You're going to be able to be up and play very solid defense with a type of build like this. The only true knock that I could see to this build is having Silver Limitless. But if you guys have watched a lot of content creators videos, they're rocking that Silver Limitless out, man. And they're not looking like they're going to have any problems with it, because shooting is relatively easy at the current moment this year, guys. And for this last shooting guard build, guys, we're going to go ahead and rock it out with a 6'6" height, minimum weight, and a 6'8" wingspan. So like I said in the beginning of the video, 3 different heights, 3 different play styles. So boom, off rip, we're going to put the driving dunk to, you guessed it, 80. 80 is going to be a reoccurring theme this year, so you might as well go ahead and get that engraved into your head. For the 3-point shot, we're going to put it at a 92 to go ahead and secure that gold limitless. So boom, this build does have gold limitless. This build does have the quick drops off 1, and then the playmaking on it is solid as well. We're going to rock out that 80 pass accuracy. We're going to get the ball handling to an 89 to get that Hall of Fame quick first step, and then the speed with ball, we're going to go ahead and put it to an 85. So the reason we took a little bit of a dip on the playmaking is so we could go ahead and secure a little bit better of defense. I know some of you guys want to be defensive heavy this year, and I want to make sure that I cover everything. All right, I want to make sure that if you want a defensive build, you're walking away with a build that has defense, but not just a build that has defense, a build that can go ahead and get its own bucket. So as you guys can see, 11 finishing, 24 shooting, 23 playmaking, 15 defense, really solid, balanced build all the way around at 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan. No real weaknesses in this build. It's obviously not as much of a juggernaut as some of the other builds, but it is a build that does not truly have any weaknesses. So we're going to go from a scoring build to a build that's going to attempt not to get scored on. And we're going to start over here with the lock positions at 6'7" with a 7'4" wingspan. So as you guys can see, the 80 driving dunk stays as a reoccurring theme no matter what the position is. Now, for the lock build, one of my favorite 3-point numbers to get to is 80. It's just a solid number. In my personal opinion, you could drop it a little bit, but 80 is a safe number for you guys to be unleavable. And when I say unleavable, I mean that if you're in that corner, they cannot leave you, or it's going to be a great bait. All right, so look at the defense, guys. 97 perimeter, 99 steal. Very solid build across the board, especially with that 87 speed. A lot of these people out here are making these super fat locks. They don't have speed like this. So this is a real deal speedster lock that's going to be able to keep up with any guard build out there at 6'7" with a long wingspan and that speed. I'm telling you guys, that's a really viable lock build that you guys are going to want to go ahead and look into. And that's just build number 1. So let's move right along. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from 6'7" and we're going to want to go ahead and go straight into 6'8" for the weight. We're going to drop it a little bit to 209, and we're going to max that wingspan out. My lockdown defenders out there, even if you don't take a build away from this video, take away the fact that you guys need to max out your wingspan no matter what, okay? There's no reason a lockdown defender should be running a lower than maximum wingspan. That is absolutely bait, guys. Don't get yourselves into it. So look, boom. Same type of thing here, 80 driving dunk. I do go a little bit up on the 3-pointer, just to, like I said, I want to mix it up. I want to make sure that I'm hitting on all the different play styles. This build has a little bit more playmaking in it, okay? So this is a little bit of a playmaker lock, okay? This is a Kawhi Leonard type lock at 6'8" with a 7'6" wingspan. Now, as a lockdown, this is what makes you smile right here. Look at the defensive badges. Just go up and go up and go up, okay? So we have a max interior, a max perimeter, a 95 steal with a 93 block, an 87 O board, and an 83 D board, guys. We are not on a center, we're on a lock with an 83 speed, guys. So this right here is for my lockdown defenders out there who do want to make plays, who maybe play on the ones court, who play on the twos court. But again, this is a solid build all across the board. This is for those lockdowns out there that can create their own bucket. Now, my point guards out there, you're probably not going to want your lock making this because he's going to be able to think that he can do way too much with the dang ball. You guys know what that's like as a point guard to have a lockdown or just a corner player in general who tries to do way too much. It's the most frustrating thing on the planet. So let's go ahead and get into one last lockdown defender build, okay? So as you guys can see, we're going to go ahead and drop that height all the way down to 6'4". Now, this is a freaky lock, chat. All right, this is a freaky lock. 6'4" max wingspan, 191 on the weight. Now, bear with me. I know the temptation is to say, hey, 6'4" is too small, but just look at the build first, okay? Look at the build first before you just write it off, okay? We still get that 80 driving dunk. For the three-pointer, we're going to go ahead and get that to an 80 as well. We're going to get that mid-range a little bit higher. We don't need it that much higher because mid-ranges are typically green if you get open, especially if you have all of your badges. Pass accuracy to a 75. This is not going to be a playmaker type build. What this is a get me a stop type build, guys. 97 perimeter, 99 steal, 70 block, max defensive rebound and offensive rebound, and look at the speed. Look at the speed. Look at the acceleration, guys. This is an absolute speed demon at the lockdown defender position. All right, this is an absolute speed demon that has solid badge spread. And to be honest with you, you should not have problems locking people up because of the wingspan, guys. A 7'1" wingspan is super long. So you're going to be able to get contests with the way the new badge system works, with the way the contest system works. You guys will be absolutely fine at 6'4" if you guys are looking to be on more of a speed demon type lock. Now, hopping right into the power forwards, guys, as you guys can see, we're going to go ahead and start with the 6'8" height, usually a pretty meta height. 210 for the weight, and then for the wingspan, we're going to go ahead and take it to 7'6". Now, let's go ahead and get gritty when it comes to the power forwards. Okay, so boom, off rip, you guys can see where are we going, guys? Where are we going with the driving dunk? You guessed it. We're putting it at 80. Do not get baited into making these builds that have like 99 driving dunk so you guys can hang on the rim and do pull-ups, guys. Please keep your heads on straight and focus. You want to make the best build possible. Now, as you guys can see, I did drop the 3-ball below 80. And as I said in the lockdown, I do genuinely believe that you can green consistently with a 70 to 75 3 if you are a good shooter in the game. If you're not a good shooter, drop something else and get that 3 up higher, okay? Drop something else that I'm upgrading and get that 3 up higher. Now, for a power forward build, guys, as you guys are going to see, this build is extremely well versed and it's very well balanced. It does not have any true weakness, as you guys can see. It has playmaking in it, so it can make a play if need be. It can shoot well, it can finish well, it clearly defends well, and it's fast, okay? It's a lot faster than majority of the power forward builds that you are going to see with that 83 speed and that 78 acceleration. I truly like this build a lot, guys. This is actually probably my favorite power forward build that there is, just because of how versatile it is and that there's no true weakness in it whatsoever. For the next power forward, chat, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get freaky, okay? 6'11", 213, 7'9". This is a freak show kind of build, fellas, all right? This is a freak show kind of build. As you guys can see, we're going and we're putting that driving dunk on 90 freaking 3. This build is an absolute freak show, but don't get it twisted. Just because I'm saying it's a freak show does not mean that it's not a very viable build, as you guys are going to see as I continue to build it. It's just a freak show because you have crazy driving dunk. And then look at this. This build is low-key an offensive demigod. Okay, this is an offensive demigod that really fits this slasher meta extremely well. So if you guys are truly buying into the hype that this is going to be a slasher's year, this is probably going to be the power forward build for you, because as you guys can see, we're not a slouch on defense. And that's one thing that I really don't ever do with my skill positions, my 2 through 4s. I'm never going to have a 2 through 4 that is truly weak at defense. I don't see the point of it. You guys are a skilled position. You guys need to make sure that you're doing your job. But yeah, like I said, that build is typically different than the usual power forward build I would make, but I want to make sure that I give everybody in every play style a fair and good look in giving you guys a specific type of build. Now, for the last power forward build, we're going to go ahead and go with 6'10", For the weight, we're gonna go ahead and go with 210 on the weight. That's minimum weight and then a maximum wingspan. Now, for the finishing, guys, if you guys walk away with any takeaway from this video, take away the fact that quick drops off one with the 80 driving dunk and the 60 vertical are the must-have abilities in this game. Now, right there on accident, you know, it's been a long day, guys. I haven't really gotten any sleep, so I happened to put it up to 85 on accident, but I'm gonna go ahead and take that right back down to the 80. That way I can go ahead and just secure the quick drops, because that is the most important thing in the game. And guys, if you do happen to mess up when making these builds, make sure that you didn't leave anything else up, because it will mess the build up entirely. So right here, as I said earlier, you guys will be good with a 75 three-pointer if you know how to time your meter. And if you're not really great at timing your shot, make sure your players are running with dimer or floor general. That will assist you guys a ton. This build has solid playmaking. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing really to like marvel about, but it's still really good. It's more of an absolute defensive anchor. As you guys can see, I'm holding RT and I'm going straight up with it. A 92 block with an 83 steal, 82 perimeter, max offensive and defensive rebound on a 6'10" power forward, guys, with an 80 speed. You guys got to think, when you guys get Gym Rat and you get these +4s, this build is going to be out there absolutely flying with phenomenal defensive and rebounding statistics. And then it's not a slouch on either end of the floor. So those were three really, really good and viable power forward options for you to choose from. And last but not least, fellas, last but not least, let's go ahead and dive into this center category. So for the height for the first center, we're going to go with 6'11". The weight, and this is important, we're going to go with 239. And then for the wingspan, we're going to go with the 7'9" wingspan. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, Choc, why are you going with this 239 weight? The reason I'm doing that is so I can get the interior defense up, not because I want to have interior defense, but it's because I want to make sure I get my brick wall as high as I can. So let's go ahead and talk about this build right here. 80 driving dunk. You guys are going to be so sick of hearing 80 driving dunk by the end of this video, but I got to ingrain it into your head. So this build can pop a little bit, okay? This isn't, I wouldn't call this a popper build, okay? This is not a popper build. I do have a popper build for you guys coming in a second, but this isn't a popper build. This is just a build that can pop. And there's a huge difference in the two. This is an inside center build that has the ability to pop if need be. Look at that. Max interior, max perimeter, 93 block, 99 rebound with a 74 speed, 67 excel, and then an 87 vertical. Guys, this is a really, really, really good center build. Do not sleep on that center build right there. At 6'11", it's a very viable option for you guys to choose. So let's go ahead and get into this second center build, which is going to be a 6'9" center. Now, like I said, guys, that last build wasn't a popper build. That was a build that could pop. This right here is a popper build. Now, for my old heads out there right now who are disgusted watching this video saying, oh man, how in the world could you play with a 6'9"? My 7'3" would absolutely abuse you. First of all, no, it wouldn't. Second of all, trust the process, guys. Short centers are always, always, always viable year in and year out. And when it's a popper build that can get busy like this popper build can, it's going to be a very viable option for the entire year, especially when it comes to 3v3. Now look right here, 80 driving dunk, 80 three-pointer, 70 pass accuracy, really, really, really good spread. With an 80 three-pointer, you guys should be able to absolutely pop with no problem. And then this build is really, really, really solid on defense. This is the type of build that if you're guarding a pick and roll with, you can switch on and guard the ball handler comfortably with that 86 perimeter defense, the 85 interior with the 90 steal and the 90 block. And then this is an 81 speed build. So with that Gym Rat, it will be an 85 speed build with an 80 acceleration at 6'9" with a 7'7" wingspan, guys. This is the popper build. The popper build of the year, guys. Trust me, if you're looking for a build that can pop, that's going to be the build for you. Now, trivia question for my people out there still watching this. Is that a popper build or is that a build that can pop? Let me know in the comment section, man. I might have something for y'all if y'all get that question right. Now for this last center build, I wanted to go ahead and go with something more traditional. So I went with the 7 foot, which I've seen a lot of centers going with. 7 foot is a really good height this year. 7'1" can get tricky because when you go 7'1", you lose a ton of speed in comparison to that 7 foot build, guys. And as we know, as we've known for years and years and years, speed always kills in 2K, and nothing has changed in NBA 2K23. But yeah, the finishing on this build right here, guys, is really good. This is a 7 foot build that's going to be extremely balanced. Now, as you guys watch me make this build, you're going to see that I skipped right over shooting. Please ignore that. I'm going to come back and upgrade it. I'm just a bit tired, guys. I have not slept since the game dropped. W in the chat, W in the comment section for grinding this content out for you guys. I wanted to make sure that I got you guys the build guide as quickly as possible so you didn't waste any money or time grinding out useless players. I wanted to make sure that you guys were on the best possible players. Now look, for the offensive and defensive rebound, that is totally interchangeable. You just want to make sure that one of them is on 99. So it doesn't matter which one it is, whether it's offensive or defensive, you guys pick the one that you feel is more important. So we do have a 93 block, which gets us that big, important rim protecting badge this year. We do have solid physicals. Obviously, a 7 footer is not going to be as fast as a 6'9", but this is still a fast center considering how tall it is, okay? So as you guys can see, we don't have perimeter on this build, but more likely than not, you're probably not going to be switching onto the perimeter to play defense on this type of build. I just can't personally see it happen. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to be playing the game like that. But overall, for a 7 foot build, this is a build that will truly have to keep you honest. This isn't something that you can really sleep on and just leave people open with. Overall, just a really solid build, especially considering how tall it is, how big it is, and how strong it is. Different from the other two builds, like I said, but I want to make sure that I'm covering every type of game style. That way you guys find a build that fits you. And that is the end of today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the build guide. And if you did, do me a huge favor and smash that like button and share this video with your friends so they can know the best possible build for their position. And that way they don't waste any time and money on those useless my player builds. I appreciate you guys for watching. Sub to the channel for more. And as always, it's your boy Choc. Stay tuned for more, and I'm out. Peace.